How's it going? And welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be working on a pretty cool project. We have a 2-story home where they zoned it out. They put a package unit on the ground and they ran ductwork into the crawl space, 2 zone dampers. Ductwork goes all the way up into the 2nd floor attic. Horrible design. So today we're gonna be ripping most of that out. We're gonna be installing 2 Gree Flex variable speed systems, 2 heat pumps. So it's gonna be a 2-day job. Today we're gonna be working on the downstairs. So we're gonna get this package unit taken out, a bunch of the ductwork that's underneath there taken out, and we're gonna put the air handler right there in the crawl space, 2 condensers right there, and then the other air handler will be in the attic. But for today, we're gonna be doing the downstairs, and then tomorrow, if all goes well, we'll be tackling the upstairs, and hopefully it's just gonna be a 2-day job. So I've got some help, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Get this guy ripped out. All right, so we got the old unit removed. So now it's time to get underneath there and start removing all this ductwork. But we got us a fresh canvas. This is the fun part. You can see this huge puddle. This is where the AC was draining. There's a dehumidifier under the house as well, pumping in right here. So we're gonna fix that problem. I'm gonna show you later in the video what we do about that. So far, so good. All right, we have removed all the ductwork. Look at this. This was the crazy mess under that house. I guess you could say this thing was not getting good airflow, that's for sure. All right, so the next step is getting the air handler down here. And unfortunately, we don't have enough height just to put it straight in. So we got to get it all dismantled, taken apart so it'll fit. How's it going so far?
Beautiful.
That's where we're going to be. Back a little bit farther, I guess, but plenty of room, huh?
Plenty.
Plenty.
Fit another one in here if you want to.
Hey, let's go. Even though I taped on the outside all the way around the collar and everything, I don't like the fact that this has a lip that the airflow can catch as it's going through and create a little bit of turbulence. So what I'm gonna do is just throw some duct mud on that seam. Now it'll be a nice smooth transition for the air and give it another level of air tightness as well. All right, so we're making some headway here. We got the line set complete, working on some electrical now. Got the system under a pressure test. So everything's looking pretty good. We're pretty much finished underneath, except for a few little on end things. About to put this on a vacuum and get all the electrical connected. Getting pretty close to starting this thing up. All right, so on these Gree units, they're a little too tight in this particular area to get this tool on without removing the bolts. So you remove the bolts, you can kind of pull this out just enough room to get the core removing tool in place, and that way you can hook up your micron gauge and do what you got to do. So on this setup today, I have a one hose setup, 1/4 inch 3/8 inner diameter hose going to the 3/8 port on this Navac 2 CFM vacuum pump. Now this is a battery powered one, and I have an adapter here to where I can use my M18 Milwaukee batteries because I have plenty of those on the van. So quick, simple, really nice little setup. It's quiet and it's tiny, man. So anyhow, it pulls down very quickly. Obviously we have a short line set, so it should anyway, but I never pull through a manifold if all possible. So this is working out pretty good. We just do one line at a time. We'll get this one done, and then we'll open the valve, and then I'll pull a vacuum on that line, and then we'll have to go to the air handler and open the valves down there as well. All right, we got pretty much everything cleaned up for the day. She just fired up, so we're gonna check everything out. I'm gonna temporarily just close this off for the night. I'm gonna be actually building an access door right there to where we can get in and service the indoor unit. So we're just sealing that up for now. Got this piped over here for now. We're gonna address this tomorrow as well. I'll show you what I'm gonna do here. But today we got the downstairs pretty much complete, and they'll be cooling tonight. So we'll be back tomorrow. All right, it is day 2. We are back to start on the upstairs system and hopefully wrap up this project today. All right, so this is the attic space where we're going to be installing the air handler for the second floor. So we're going to have an upflow air handler right here, and the ductwork goes up to the attic space, and that's where all the existing duct system currently is. So we just got to tap into it up there. So duct system is going to be pretty simple. We do have to run all of our interconnecting piping and wiring across, down, and then through the soffit to get down to the condenser. So, but all in all, this is a pretty nice setup here. It's nice and clean and decked out, and we'll get some lights brought up here so it's nice and bright. But that's the design for the upstairs.
There it is.
Just gotta send it. These guys are doing in here. Getting ready to do some pressing up here, bro?
That's right.
Okay. Let's see what you guys got going on here. Nice little pump. Man, it's dark over here. Get some lights. So the way we got it here, upflow air handler sitting on a box. They have an Aprilaire 4-inch filter that we bolt directly to that. And then we make another box coming off of that so we can tap our return duct going up. And we slide it over against this wall. Nice and neat, looks good. So we're getting there. All right, so on this system, since it goes upstairs, we have a total of 60 feet on the line set. I always like to write it on the inside of the panel. That way in the future, any other tech, you'll know how much line set you have. All right, so if you look in the manual on this particular unit, on the 3-ton, or the 5-ton actually, it comes with enough refrigerant pre-charged to do 31 and some change feet of line set. So, and then the indoor coil has its own charge already as well. So we have to add some refrigerant for the extra 29 feet. And in the manual, it's actually goes by grams and meters, but when you convert that over, basically we need to add right at 9.5 ounces of refrigerant. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break the vacuum on the suction line here with 9.5 ounces, and then I'll pull a vacuum on the liquid line and just open the valve, and we should be charged perfectly. But of course, we'll test everything and make sure everything's good, but at least the charge should be spot on. All right, so we got everything cleaned up. We got the second unit running. It's getting late and I actually have a service call to run, so I'm gonna come back tomorrow morning. I've got to make a custom door / cover for that crawl space anyway. So I'm gonna come back tomorrow, do the little drain thing that I was talking about, fix that or build that door, and then I'm gonna go through both systems and do a full commission. You know, check static pressures, make sure the charge is perfect, all that good stuff. So one more day. So I would say probably half a day tomorrow at most by myself. But this has been a pretty cool project. I'm really happy with these Gree systems. I like the way they operate. I like their functionality, and they're just for the price point and what you get for a full variable speed system, they're really nice. So anyhow, back tomorrow. All right, it is the next day and it's time to get this project wrapped up. All right, this system is finally finished, and I'm not gonna go through the startup and commissioning side of it because that's a whole video in itself that's gonna be coming out in the future. So for today, we are complete, everything's running good, customer is happy. Now to sum everything up on this project, we removed a single stage piece of equipment that was zoned for the upstairs and the down, which is a horrible design, right? We have tons of ductwork going everywhere, and the system just wasn't operating very well. It wasn't keeping the upstairs comfortable whatsoever. So what we decided to do to simplify things, we went with two separate systems. We went with the Gree variable speed, so that way we have plenty of flexibility and they're power efficient as well. But what we did is we have two separate thermostats, one for upstairs, one for down, because we have two separate systems. We have an air handler that's serving the upstairs and an air handler that's serving the downstairs. So that way they have complete separate control because the upstairs is a different load than the downstairs, right? So we want to be able to accommodate that properly. So with this system, they're gonna be super happy, very comfortable. Their electric bills are gonna be pretty low because these are heat pump systems. They do have backup electric heat, but what I like to do is install a Honeywell thermostat with an outdoor air sensor, so that way I can lock out that electric heat because I don't want it turning on if it's not absolutely necessary. So the way that I do it, I go as far as it'll let me go. So outdoor cutoff point is 5 degrees outside. So basically what that means is if it's above 5 degrees outside, we are disabling the electric heat kit and we're gonna run the pump only. Now that's what we want. And in Tennessee, we don't really get those low temperatures very often. So the heat pump should keep up just fine. And I'm pretty sure these units are actually rated down to a negative 22 degree outdoor ambient. Now I don't think they get full capacity at that temperature, but around 5 to 0 degrees, you should get full capacity. So in a nutshell, these things are gonna be super efficient power consumption wise. They're gonna be super efficient as far as comfort goes because they can vary their capacity and tailor their load depending on how hot it is outside, what the temperature needs to be inside and how hot it is inside. So anyhow, they can basically tailor their load depending on what the load is in the environment, which is the way to go. I do not recommend doing zone systems the way this system was set up. If you're going to do a zone system, you need to do it one of two ways. You need to have a full communicating system. What that means is you have one, let's say a split system, because they don't even make these in package units, where the air handler and the condenser are fully communicating to one another, so it's variable speed. They're also communicating to the zone dampers and to the thermostats. So they're modulating and they're keeping static pressure the way they're supposed to be, and we're not using bypass dampers or any of that. Or at the very minimum, if you're gonna do two zones, you wanna have a two-stage piece of equipment, and those zones need to be pretty much 50-50 of the entire system. So that way, when only one stage is running, one zone is running, and if two stages are running, two zones are running. So you never want to put a single stage piece of equipment on a zone system. Anyhow, this is just kind of a brief overview of what this project was, what I like to do on zone systems and what I don't like to do. So I can make a whole video just on this topic, and I just might. But I wanted to give you a good visual of what it looks like to go in, tear out some old stuff, go in with some new stuff, and just have a good time doing it, making the job look really nice and just making sure the customer is happy and satisfied. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, see you guys later.